Hello and welcome to another jungle video, and in this special edition we are going to be celebrating the 2019 jungle meta by going through the top 10 junglers that we saw throughout the year and had a great impact on the meta, solo queue, and perhaps our mental state, with a few fun awards tagged on at the end, and hopefully a good summary of what the jungle meta gave to us this year. Besides a whole bunch of experienced nerfs and complaining laners, but then what else is new? Toss a coin to your jungler because we have no more gold. And of course, if you have a different list or think someone should be on this, please comment below who your favorite junglers were from this year and who you think was the best one overall. Alright, your top 10 junglers of 2019 and the Jungle Awards show begins in 15 seconds.
Buff is an easy-to-use loyalty program that rewards gamers for simply playing. Complete challenges and in turn receive tradable buff coins. Use these coins in the marketplace in exchange for a variety of gift cards and in-game items so you can go from red to green. Swish. Number 10.
And first up is Elise, and she is on this list purely because not only was she a dominant high elo pick for the whole year basically, going through multiple metas, her play rates and win rates went up across a multitude of MMR ranges, and in a time when we had very little AP junglers to choose from at the start of the year, she was still going strong. She basically goes strong no matter what. She transcends the meta with her kit. She's a strong early game jungler, she has tower dives, she brought a full package to the table with a reasonably high learning curve that made it interesting for people to play, that made her effective across a large elo range. It's very unlikely you played a lot this year and didn't see quite a few releases. When a champion does get more popular as well, they seem to be on the top junglers front pages a lot more often. They get a dedicated guide on the channel, which she did, and they incur a lot of passive views as people are looking how to play them. She checked all these boxes and thus is the first on our list.
Number 9.
Now here we have someone who I've largely insulted for having a punchable face and an annoying voice and an annoyingly kind of upward-backwardsy posture and a pretty straightforward kit, and thanks to a little bit of a buff early in the season and coupled with a meta shift and nerfs around other junglers, jungle experience nerfs, he ended up being one of the best junglers in the game along with Rek'Sai in one of our videos. He could adapt to any form of jungle clear and find a way to impact the game. You can build them tank, you can build them damage. His versatility and the fact that he was just outright strong in terms of combating enemy junglers meant he had a strong focal point in the early season meta and remained relevant the rest of the year.
Number 8.
Now settle down. Yes, Master Yi is on this list. No, Master Yi isn't that good, but also Master Yi is pretty good. You understand the conundrum here? He dominated our Taric funnel meta, which no one really wants to remember. It's the stuff of nightmares. Once he reaches that late game fantasy, once the laners feed him and you feed him as the enemy jungler, he's got 10 kills, you pretty much just sit in your base and cry a little bit. But while he wasn't a prototypical jungler in the sense of, defining the meta and being top tier, he was strong throughout the year despite changes. We had Hail of Blades, we had Conqueror, we had different builds with Warrior, we had Blood Razor. He dominated low MMR once again, as I guess he does every year, and he was way more effective in Platinum and Diamond than he's ever been in terms of his win rates and usage rates. Yes, he falls off of course as you hit the higher elos, but nonetheless his impact was there in solo queue, as well as the soulless recipient of a funnel strategy. And I'm really happy it's gone.
Number 7.
Yes, our knife stab cat is here once again. Actually, the largest source of traffic for the channel from YouTube searches this year was Rengar. And ultimately, that's because everyone just wants to be the alpha jungler. They want to be the raw spot jungler that 1v9s every game and takes control. Rengar is amazing at that, and the video we did on how to take control with Rengar really showed that people do want to be able to turn a switch on and just nullify their teammates' inadequacies to make sure that they can carry, despite the fact that they might have a team full of howler monkeys. The fact that a good Rengar and a red Rengar in a game instills fear in every single squishy target. It forces them to buy items they probably don't really want to have to buy. And the fact that his win rate isn't always necessarily the best, his ban rate shows you how people actually don't want to face them in solo queue. His W is probably one of the most broken abilities in the game in terms of that cleanse it gives you plus healing that recent damage. The fact that you can take him top lane, play him Conqueror and a bit more Bruiser, he's still a full-fledged dominating assassin. He brings everything to the table as well as bringing flair, fun, and basically removing ADCs, which everyone hates.
Number 6.
And here we have to bring up our lovely lady Rek'Sai. She was one of my most played this year. She got those bug fixes at the end of 2018, which translated to a small bug fix on the Hail of Blades interactions at the start of the year, a nice quality of life improvement on the dodgeability of her ultimate, and then you add in the Conqueror rune fantasy that came around in February. She ended up absolutely dominating the meta over the next month. And in classic Riot form, something that's very strong and very popular that doesn't sell skins needs to be nerfed. Or, alternatively, you could just release a skin for her. We'd like that. This means not only was she relevant at the end of Season 8 patches in high elo, after her dominance of the meta in the early Season 9, she remained a strong high MMR pick throughout the rest of 2019 and even into our Season 10 patches so far. Her win rate actually has improved for the average player than it was at the end of Season 9, and so because of her meta dominance in that part of the season and because of her versatility to remain a strong competitive pick in the higher tiers all the way through the year, she gets the spot.
Number 5.
Yes, we have to put Nunu on this list because Nunu happened to be on most of the top junglers, not in any top spot, but definitely was the best solo queue and most consistent solo queue tank throughout the year. Objective control, good ganks, the subject of insecure aftershock memes, and basically was the ultimate safe pick throughout the year. You needed to jungle and you wanted to be safe while securing objectives? Nunu. You needed a tank to teamfight? Nunu. You liked to play Nunu but wanted to be a full AP blast machine? You could do that too. Nunu and Willem brought an element of fun to the tank playstyle in the jungle. And yes, we've had our Zacs, we had the Sejuanis, we had the Mundos, had a little bit of Volibear, but Nunu was the tried and true, consistent, reliable, consume, annoying tank jungler for the entire of the season. Good in Season 10, good at the end of Season 8, and good for all of Season 9. And if you were really crazy, you could just run Predator, so that's also a thing.
Number 4.
Okay, now we're getting into the juicy stuff. Here we have Karthus. Now, Karthus has been a little bit overrated, but also basically has been underrated. He received multiple nerfs at the early and mid stages of the year because of his ability to simply fast clear some more, and then press R, and then you win. And then the later the game got, the more you won. And basically, if people didn't buy Zhonya's, GAs, Banshees, Veils, etc., you'd get at least 20 kills on average. Now, despite my jokes, his playstyle was horrendous. It should not be encouraged. It should not have existed for as long as it did, but he remained a hidden top best AP jungler pick in Master Tier and above. He was still supremely good for anyone who smurfed in Diamond and Platinum. You pick Karthus, you pretty much could get a win, provided you hit Qs and actually know how to play it, of course. And I suppose the point is, and why he has this spot, it's because his presence, his aura of existence was felt very strongly in December of 2018 during that preseason. We felt him hugely at the start of Season 9, and despite those nerfs, remained a top tier pick for skilled junglers all the way through up until this exact point right now where you can still go and play him. Basically, like a phantom, like a shadow, he existed as a top tier jungler even though people weren't playing him and were ignoring him because it's kind of a boring playstyle, but nonetheless, definitely the year of Karthus jungle in our minds.
Number 3.
And here we have the ever adaptable, ever present, ever the versatile electrocute conqueror champion. Hey, you have this too if you like. The one and only Khazix. I was gonna say the one and only Predator, but I feel like Rengar might have had an issue with that. He officially has the award for the most number 1 spots in my best junglers videos this year. Although in retrospect, I think there's one video I regret giving him number 1, but nonetheless, he has been a top tier jungler for all of 2019. And in his case, by top tier, I mean he's been in the best 3 junglers for most of the year. Doesn't matter what the meta was, he had Electrocute when all the tanks started running around, he just took Conqueror and that became even more obnoxious, if you can believe it. But there was never a point where you kind of said, hey, Khazix number 1 jungler, permaban, never want to see him. He was always there, and he was always in the top 3, and he was always difficult to deal with. But there was never a moment where you thought, wow, this is definitely disgusting, Riot needs to hard nerf it. And he did receive some touches, but then got another buff because apparently Riot always wants him in the meta. He's very popular, he's very versatile, and the reason he's number 3 on this list is because of his adaptability, which is appropriate I suppose, for him to transcend any meta. And the reason that is so is because you can choose all the different evolves you like, you have multiple rune choices and multiple build paths that you can take. When a champion offers all those 3 avenues, it's very likely no matter what the meta, unless they get directly nerfed or buffed, they will be considered one of the best in the game.
Number 2.
And actually, I had someone in my Discord help me a little bit with this video just in terms of the talking points, and she very much pointed out that Hecarim's dominance was so powerful in that mid-season. One player even got rank 1 on an A using Hecarim when no one else was playing him around, I think, 9.8, 9.9? I released a video about it. This was after those buffs in 9.4, 9.6. But it was his synergy with that Conqueror rune around the mid-season that despite the following nerfs in around 9.9, he was still able to maintain that top spot for 2 of my best junglers in a row, which was approximately 4 to 5 patches where you kind of thought if the enemy team picked Hecarim, it was going to be very much a case of you don't ride the horse rides you. And in Season 9 with all the spam ganking and invades, you kind of just hope for the best. And it was also during this mid-season phase that we really didn't see a lot of Khazix all the way up until he got those second round of buffs around 9.17. And despite that, Hecarim, even though he kind of fell off the radar, his win rates, his Smite Ignite, Conqueror Predator, people were still using him on Smurf accounts. They were still destroying and mid-platinum diamond using this champion, and he didn't really disappear. His place in the meta just shifted, but his power curve was still there. The fact that you could rotate all over the map really quickly, you could assassinate people, you could tower dive people, you could farm faster, you could heal faster, you could fight better. You were the nightmare of tower dives in the bottom lane. This earns him the second spot.
Number 1.
And I think at this point everyone kind of knows who this is. Welcome to the best jungler of 2019, Ekko. Yes, he wasn't exactly part of the meta for the whole year, but his absolute decimation of every other jungler, the fact that he does everything better, the fact that he is so safe, that he fast clears, that he's got that insane lockdown at level 1, he's an assassin, he has wave clear, he has teamfight potential, his ultimate is on such a low cooldown at level 16 with all the CDR you build, and the fact that prior to his meta shift, prior to him becoming so popular around August, he was a very good off-meta jungler. Before that, his win rates were still like 52% for the months preceding his meta ascension. He had all these numerous small buffs in a row, and he wasn't even that bad in the jungle, but once they took him over the edge with that, he's been city pretty ever since. He even got that super high quality true damage skin, which brought up his usage rate and attention. The fact that he's been the cut and dry best jungler for around 4 months now. And yes, everyone's kind of hyped up on the Warwick and the Olaf and things like that, but Ekko really still is the best jungler in the game. If you're looking for versatility, good AP damage, and anything else you could possibly want on a jungler, he has it. Much like Hecarim, much like Karthus, people are gonna start to get a little bored of seeing him and playing him, so they're gonna shift away into other things that are probably better suited to the meta, but that doesn't necessarily mean those better meta suited junglers are the best jungler. I even tongue twisted myself thinking about that, so I've put the text on the screen. Hopefully every other jungler in this top 10 at some point crossed your mind when you were thinking about who represented this year the best. The biggest honorable mention I want to give is to Elise. He wasn't that great for most of the year. He was always used in high elo, but his win rate wasn't that great. He did receive those 2 buffs and of course dominated Worlds and has been very strong ever since, and at the moment is in an excellent position. But because he's always around anyway, even if he's weak, he doesn't necessarily get that same credit of the defining jungler of 2019, but definitely in the last few months, 100% agree with you. We also have Evelyn as a nice cheese pick. She kind of fell off a little bit, and even as someone who mains her, I really didn't touch her that much in Season 8. I didn't feel the need to. She didn't have that same power, and when a jungler falls off so hard that they're not really considered a top tier pick for many months, they can't really be included in the top 10. And now finally you have some other fun categories I've put up. Maybe next year we can have a whole stream and thing about this. I just want to kind of voice my thoughts as I was reflecting on Season 10 and the whole of 2019 when you consider what junglers were in our minds and what junglers rose up, and hopefully those other fun categories can give other junglers some spotlight. You've seen my personal choices for my favorite junglers this year. Warwick was definitely very underrated, but he's back in full force for Season 10, so maybe he has a chance of winning best jungler next year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. Don't forget to subscribe for all the Season 10 jungle videos coming up, and as always I will see you all in the next video.